everybody. So here is Tiger Black again, and I'm here with a little announcement and a new video about socionics. So the little announcement is exactly that I'm going to restart making socionics videos. Reason is that I realized that throwing away years of studies, even if on my own, of a subject that I have come to understand pretty well, is not a good use of that understanding. And second reason is that I miss talking about the topic. So here it is. Today we're going to talk about extroverted thinking. I think this video is going to make things pretty clear also for those of you who do not know about socionics and MBTI. When I go into functions, I normally take things that I think belong in that category from real life and elaborate on that. First of all, for those of you who are not into the subject, remember that socionics is not about using stuff to make others fall at your feet. This is not neuro-linguistic programming or stuff like that. This is just understanding how people work. And the moment you understand how people work, you also realize you're not going to change that. You're not going to change them. You're not going to change yourself. That's pretty much who you are and who they are. So if you're not compatible, there's no way of using MBTI or socionics to make them compatible with you or Enneagram. You're not going to use these theories to make people compatible with you if they're not. This is pretty much about understanding that incompatibility exists and how to avoid those individuals that are so different from you that you cannot have a relaxed and happy life with. So this said, let's go back to extroverted thinking. In the past year, I spent a lot of time thinking about one of the facets of extroverted thinking that is listed on Wikisource, which is facts, the logic of actions, which is normally recognized as facts. Oh, but facts is about extroverted thinking. Okay, if you're going into functions and using MBTI, I think you had a bad childhood and you need to let it out onto someone. Because MBTI and functions is not clear at all. So we're talking socionics and we're going into socionics because socionics is scientifically studied from a certain perspective. It's always pseudoscience. It's not recognized by general psychology, everything you want, but there's a scientific study behind it and it has a solid base on which it's based. So take your childhood trauma elsewhere. This is not the place. Moving on. Back to extroverted thinking. Extroverted thinking as a logic of actions or facts. And I am combining these two things because actions are, as a matter of fact, facts. So there's an interpretation of what is going on among people, and there's what's actually going on. So if I pick up a pen, and give it to someone, I could have done a lot of things from a psychological point of view, but factually speaking, I picked up a pen, and I gave it to someone. Did I mean it as an offense to this person? Did I mean it as doing a favor to this person? Do I mean to give this thing to this person to offend someone else? Do I mean to give this thing to this person to do a favor to someone else? That's all speculation. That's all what's behind the scenes. But what's happening is what's happening. So it's a fact. I picked up a pen, and gave it to a person. There's nothing you can say about that. That's what happened. And this is basically what I've been thinking about in the past year or so. That very often when I end up in discussions or stay at the edge, at the corners, watching and looking what's going on in discussions, the main issue, the main problem is that people do not come to an understanding or to a common ground about what happened. They're so focused about their understanding of what is going on that they do not realize that they're talking about different things, or that one of them did not see the whole thing happening, and they are forgetting about facts and what actually happened. That's what I see happening. Why am I so worried about this? Obviously, because of something that happens to me. So, more often than not, when I enter a discussion, it's because I've seen something happening and I elaborate or analyze it from my perspective. And I am sharing my perspective with others to figure out if there's other speculations that can be done behind that. What happens most of the time is that instead of being given a different perspective about what happened, what I'm told is a lot of things about things that happen in other situations, or what could have been if it had happened another way, or a lot of things that have nothing to do with the context. So that's basically my issue. And I've always been told that I am irrational, and that I that I'm not objective. So I was very confused about that, because I'm like, okay, a lot of people are saying this thing, and I think it's them not being objective, so what's going on here? So I had to figure it out and to go a little bit more in depth about it. And I had to realize that actually I'm the one being objective. And the reason is the logic of actions. So the logic of actions as extrovert thinking is not a speculation about what's going on, but it is what's logically happening. So it's external. Extrovert thinking focuses on what is external, what is not in the individual. So anything that is happening outside of me as seen logically. So the logic of action, meaning that I am logically and coldly looking at what is going on. So, and there's also another aspect, obviously, because that's the first step. So I see action, and I see what is going on objectively outside of me, and then I'm trying to elaborate and analyze the logic behind it objectively. So we're talking objectively. Obviously, being absolutely objective is impossible. There's always going to be some degree of subjectiveness, and that's given by the other function that is close in the ego block to that one that is being used, which is always introverted. So the filter through which we look at what's objectively going on. But first of all, there's what's objectively going on. So an extroverted thinker, that it is an ESTJ, ENTJ, or an ISTJ, INTJ, is always going to look first at what is actually going on. So Patrick crossed the road and kicked the old woman. The old woman fell and yelled at Patrick. Julian arrived and only saw the old lady on the floor yelling at Patrick. Patrick tells Julian that he has no clue what happened. But Patricia watched the whole scene and keeps telling Patrick that he kicked the woman, and he keeps denying. So you see, we have a situation. It's a very complex situation. What really happened? Is the old woman an angry, hostile woman that doesn't let Patrick help her? Is Patrick a prick that goes around kicking old women? What's going on there? Patricia knows, and Julian does not. But Julian has seen part of the thing and thinks he knows. So that's the problem with actions. And the logic of actions, extrovert thinking, says, I am Julian. I only see this old lady yelling at Patrick. First thing I need to do is figure out why this old lady is yelling at Patrick. So extroverted thinking Julian goes to the old lady and asks, what happened? The old lady is going to give an answer. She's going to say, oh, he came and kicked me and I fell and now I'm angry. Patrick is going to say that's not true. But then we have Patricia who says, I seen the whole scene, and the old lady is telling the truth. Patricia could be lying. Patricia could be telling the truth. That's what the logic of action, where the logic of action kicks in. What is most logically happening? It could be one of two things. Patrick came too close to the old lady, and the old lady got scared, thought he wanted to rob her, and therefore fell and started yelling at him. Second, so he's innocent. Or second, Patrick actually kicked the old lady fell, and now she's angry. Whatever happened, Patrick will never be 100% innocent. Something happened. It involved Patrick. So Patrick has to do with the thing that happened. That's logic. That's objective. That's saying there has to be something going on here. That's objective. From there on starts your understanding of it. The way I looked at things, for example, was introverted intuition. Introverted intuition looks at cause and effect. Ethically speaking, if we there can't be an ethical function next to that, but there could be yeah. So that's the pairing ENTJ INTJ. That's how INTJ ENTJ probably would look at things. On the other side, we have instead ESTJs and ISTJs. How would they look at things? The old woman is hurt. Fact. In some way, the old woman is on the floor and is hurt. We don't care who, what, where, when, why, wow. The old woman is on the floor. She's hurt. Someone pick her up and fix this problem. That's probably how ESTJ and ISTJ would instead look at the thing. Let's fix the problem because we have a problem here. So it's the here and now versus the before and after. So if introverted intuition paired with extroverted thinking wants facts and to know where those facts lead and where those facts came from, introverted sensing paired with extroverted thinking is instead, we have facts right in front of us, we are going to fix what we can see. So that's the logic of actions from another perspective. And that's pretty important because when we are in a social context, we have a lot of people who do not give a damn about facts. So their understanding of the situation is everything that matters to them. We have people that instead focus a lot on what happened. We have people who listen to those who said what happened and will judge according to that. We have people who base their understanding of things on denying what happened. And that's a lot of facets that give us actually different types of personality, and we are so used to saying that person is crazy that we do not realize that that's just a different way of thinking. So that's what it is. It's just a different way of thinking. And if you are attached to facts and to what is actually going on, you're probably one of those individuals who know how the world works. So what does it mean that I know how the world works? It means that you have an understanding of all the possible situations that exist out there. So you know that there's people that are going to yell at others for no reason. You know that no reason actually has a background. You know that there's a lot of things going on, like I just said. You know that there's people who are going to look at facts. There's people who are going to disregard facts. There's people who are going to be more focused on their logical understanding of the situation. So my understanding of what's going on matters more than what's actually going on. There's people who are going to focus on their personal ethics about the things. So someone here is a bad person. Patrick is a bad person regardless. Or the old lady is a bad person because you don't fucking yell at people. That's a way of looking at things. Whereas extrovert thinking tends to be a lot more objective in nature. It doesn't look for someone guilty. It doesn't care who is guilty. What extrovert thinking focuses on is what happened. Old lady on the ground, old lady hurt, fact. The old lady needs help. Someone help the old lady. There's no judgment there. There's no judgment of sorts. There's only an understanding of a physical problem of the old lady. Patrick is standing. Patrick does not hurt. Patrick has no physical problems, so physical problems come first. That's extrovert thinking with introverted sensing. Extrovert thinking with introverted intuition. I'm sorry you're angry. I'm sorry you're hurt. I'm sorry you feel judged. But until we know what happened, we're not going to come out of this situation. So we figure out that Patrick kicked the old lady. You apologize. We help the old lady stand up. Everyone goes on their way, and let's go on, move on. Solutions are come afterwards, and they're normally not coming from the TE guy. They're normally coming from the FI guy. Solutions. Anyway, yeah, that's what this is about. Extroverted thinking and the logic of actions. Extroverted thinking checks facts, what happened, and logically analyzes the situation. So, logically speaking, this happened or that happened. So, logically speaking, if the woman is on the ground hurting, something must have happened that made her fall. What that thing is, we're going to figure out. But until we have proof that that happened, we do not know what the truth is. That's extroverted thinking. Extroverted thinking requires proof of what is going on. And that's why a lot of INFPs and a lot of ISFPs try to back up their understanding of things with facts and factual information. If you ever have a problem or an issue of any kind with an INFP or an ISFP, so we're talking EII and ESI for those of you who are into socionics. So people with a strong ethically introverted feeling function. These people who are very ethical are going to back up their judgment with the facts of what has happened. So going back, if Patricia was an FI user, she would probably have filmed the whole situation and would go with her phone and say and tell to, I don't remember the names anymore, Justin, I don't know, to the newcomer, hey, look, no, this is what happened. I have proof that that's what happened, and that's why I'm angry at Patrick. That's why I say Patrick is a jerk and he's a prick, because this is what happened. I have proof that that happened. Or another thing that they could do if they didn't film with their phone, they would probably say, the old woman was going on her way. There's someone in that shop over there. They probably saw the whole thing. Let's go and ask them. That's the approach that someone with introverted feeling judgment will have. They're going to look for proof and factual information that supports their judgment. And that's pretty interesting because it actually throws a lot of confusion up on the whole system. But that's why this kind of understanding of people is so complex. It's because it's never white and black. There's always a little bit of personal logic behind extroverted logic. So subjective logic behind objective logic. There's always going to be a little bit of objective ethics behind subjective ethics, for example. So we are part of a whole, and we are made of a lot of facets. So probably an ISTJ, for example, will use their personal understanding of the situation to back up uh, their their logic, what's going on, to back up their desire to help the old woman. Um, and they're probably going. An ISTJ could probably say, "Oh, I don't care how Patrick hurt her. She's on the ground hurting, so Patrick did something to her. I don't care what it is, but I'm going to help the old woman." That's what an ISTJ could probably say. A lot more harsh, a lot more strict, and a lot more rude sounding, so to speak, to some people. But that's what they're probably going to do. And yeah, this is me back rambling about functions. I hope you enjoyed this video and you had fun. And I hope I gave you a little bit of food for thought about logical functions and socionics again. Hope to see you soon again. Bye.